Hi YouTube, it's me again. So I guess I should tell you a little bit more about me, what's going on. I've always had a very unhealthy relationship with food, but from childhood, food was a serious issue for me and I didn't know it. As an adult, stress and going to college, having to study, being more sedentary, having jobs that required long periods of sitting, especially after I got married, having children, more bad habits. Weight just steadily climbed. In my mid 30s, I started feeling really bad. Doctors just kept telling me to lose weight, but that was kind of the problem. I was just having trouble losing weight. I had no energy. It was getting harder and harder to do my daily chores or to cook or to shop or eat right or go out with my kids. And I kept getting worse and worse. And every time I went and would ask for help, they'd just tell me to lose weight. And about the same time, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I got my blood sugar under control. And my blood pressure, my cholesterol, everything looked good. But I was still fatigued easily and just going downhill. They figured out eventually, after a lot of tests and stuff, that I had an autoimmune disease. And it took me a few years to recuperate from it. I was in a wheelchair for a few years. I was very depressed, and I really ballooned up at that point. I really gained a lot of weight. I think I was at my highest, I was 374. I could have been about 10 or 15 pounds more than what I weighed myself as because I could only weigh myself at the hospital. I did get into remission and started fighting to get my strength back. Started walking again, started moving again. I lost 50 pounds just from getting up and getting activity again. But my weight loss halted kind of at that point because major life crises started to hit. My marriage just fell apart, exploded, imploded. It was a disaster. I mean, I was severely traumatized by a lot of things. My mother was going senile at the time, and at some point, I had to take her in to live with me, and I had just moved across the country to start fresh after that marriage ended. So my mother had to come live with me because I'm an only child. And I took care of her. She went downhill. She just took a lot of energy. She died a few months ago. And, you know, the whole time going through that, the courts in different states and, dealing with my mother and my son and everything, I was just putting off the weight losses I had in the past. I just put it off like I always did. When I was younger, in my late teens, early 20s, I would try and I would try, but I would fail and I would get discouraged. And even in my 30s, maybe a couple times I tried and failed. So I kept telling myself, don't you get to it, you'll get to it one day. Too stressful right now. You can't focus on that. Just get everything else kind of sorted out and then you could put your health front and center. So 3 weeks and 5 days ago, go to the doctor. My diabetes is out of control. I'm a mess. My triglycerides are high, my cholesterol is high, my uh, blood pressure has crept up, and now things are so bad that I've actually got fatty liver disease. The enzymes are elevated. once your organs start going, I'm a mess. And I've been digging my own grave one spoonful at a time, and it's almost ready for me to climb in. If I don't do something now, it's not too late already. So that was 3 weeks and 5 days ago. 3 weeks and 4 days ago, something in me kind of woke up. I started a new regime of some different meds, some same, some different, some tweaked. Uh, got the doctor to put me in physical therapy because I have back problems that have been acting up really bad, especially after spending a couple of months in the house. Uh, but I've been trying to do the exercises and go into the gym and trying to eat better and being careful about my choices. So, highest weight that I know of was, like I said, 374 in the wheelchair. I had, when I went to the doctor 3.5 weeks ago, gained back 10 of those pounds after keeping it off for a couple of years. I gained back 10 of those pounds. I was 333. But today it was 320. So that's almost 14 pounds. I'm not starving myself or anything. It just so happens that when you are morbidly obese like this, you will lose weight faster in the beginning, and that's where a lot of people get discouraged later on, because as soon as they're not losing 3-4 pounds a week anymore, it starts to feel like you're failing. Like, I'm aware of that now, and I don't think it'll bother me as much because I'm expecting it, and I realize that it's normal, and I realize that uh, the pace of losing this much per week after a while won't be healthy anymore. So I'm not going to let it get me down this time. I want to let that psych me out. It's not about a number on the scale anymore. It's not about fitting into pretty dresses anymore, you know? It's about living. I'm more worried about the number of my blood sugar every morning, really, than I am about the number on my scale. I'm more worried about what my fat and carb intake and stuff like that is than what my scale readings are. The scale readings is just a measurement right now. I'm working on it. I've got a lot I guess I could talk about, but I feel like I've unloaded enough for you right now, and I'll probably get a lot deeper later into things like diabetes management and my autoimmune disease and psychological issues stemming from my childhood, my relationship with my parents and my ex and the end of my marriage and everything like that. But I think that's enough for now. So if you're still listening and watching this, I just want to say thanks for listening. Thanks for being there. And I'll see you soon.